We're slightly too organized for me. My controller just is having the slightest bit of issues here, so give me 2 seconds. Yeah, I was ready because it turned on, but then it stopped working. It's all right. It's all right. We can get this up and running.
While you do that, I might just note we've got a $50 donation from Denise, who says, "Great job, everyone. Love Mama Cass."
Oh, that's my mom. Round of applause for my mom. The last time I was at an ASM event, my mom did commentary for me, so that is it's very, very special to have her donate as well. Oh, sorry. Now, sorry, Tech, can we cut back to the break? Can you just talk for a few more seconds, just while we...
Me talk? That doesn't sound like me at all. For the record, I think what we've got going on here is we have a controller and a keyboard and a mouse and just all sorts of fancy shenanigans set up. And I hear that that's a really, really good way to make sure that all tech always behaves properly. While we're fixing this, we've just got a $100 donation from Chili Pepper, who says, "I can't wait to see Fetch with Luna." Oh, and Transistor too, I guess. Good luck with the run, and please put this towards the Sephiroth incentive. For those who aren't aware of that, we have got an incentive coming up for Kingdom Hearts, where we are going to fight Sephiroth at level 1 in Kingdom Hearts 2, which seems like something that shouldn't be possible, or at least seems very unwise. We need another $350 to make that happen, so if you want to see that, that's towards the end of the day. We've still got some time, but make sure that you're putting those donations towards these incentives.
All right, crisis has been averted. Thank you for playing that off there. We do. So you will see throughout this run, I'm going to be alternating between mouse and keyboard and controller and keyboard at different points. So it gets a little bit complicated. But guys, gals, non-binary pals, hello. My name is Cass, and it is an honor to be here to run Transistor any percent for you all. This is a very, very special game. It was the first time I ever saw a speedrun, was a speedrun of this game. And I'm super, super excited to be here to run it all for you. So if we're all finally ready, I'll give us a countdown in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is Transistor. If it looks a little bit familiar and you have played a little game known as Hades 1 or Hades 2, that is the reason. This is by Supergiant Games, so the same developers of Bastion and Hades. It's a nice top-down isometric RPG with a few turn-based elements in it, which we'll get to in a second. I am joined by the wonderful Aggie and GLP, who are going to introduce themselves in the order of whoever wins a round of rock, paper, scissors right now.
First paper. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, you got it.
Cool. Hi, I'm Aggie. I don't run this game personally, but I really love all the Supergiant games, played all of them, and I'm a Hornet runner.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Geo Phoenix. I don't run this game either, but I am also a big fan of all the Supergiant games, and yeah, we're just going to be helping out Cass as he's... There are going to be some moments where we'll be taking over some of the explanations, but for the most part, Cass is more than capable of taking care of things himself.
I don't know. I'm just breaking everything, y'all. I'm so sorry. Of course.
There we go. Flawless. Flawless.
Is that better? All right, the game is turned up in the game. Can we get a round of applause for Tech?
Woo!
Reset the game.
Bit of a false start, but we'll be fine.
Bit of a false start. It's fine. It's fine. And you do want to be able to hear the music of this game because
yes.
It is Darren Korb is an absolute genius on all musical instruments. So.
Also some absolute banger vocals in this game as well, right?
Absolutely.
Banger vocals by Ashley Barrett.
Ashley Barrett. Yeah.
Oh, that
Lead singer of Skiller and the Sirens.
You're good. Shout out to Nora. Nora's also a Supergiant Games runner, so we
Nice. Are we resetting the timer?
Yeah, may as well.
Yeah.
May as well. I gotta go back to the start of the
Alrighty.
game here, so we may as well.
Hey, Red. We're not
yes.
gonna get away with this, are
You
we?
get to see,
Lovely
you get
voice.
to see Sword Boyfriend for the first time again.
We do. So, like I was saying, this is a top-down isometric action-adventure game with some turn-based elements.
Together
You're not
again.
going to see a great deal of the turn-based elements because
Sort of.
unfortunately they are slow.
know this already.
But we are about to get
They want you back, I
a
bet.
tutorial of it. The
So
first
do I.
skip, which we missed because of the game of rock paper scissors, happens right here. By the time I kill this enemy, if I
Nice.
ignore what it drops and
Okay,
just run
let's
across
go.
there, we save about 2
Unmarked
seconds by
alley.
skipping that barrier
East of the
there.
bay.
So
I know where
all
we
the
are.
combat in this game
More of the
happens in sort of
extremes.
arenas. So we're going to enter an area. These little blue dots are going to get drawn as boundaries to the arena, and we're not going to be able to leave that area until we defeat all the enemies. The downside is that when you defeat an enemy, it drops a cell. You need to pick that cell up in about 9 seconds, or else the enemy comes back to life at full health. And obviously, having to fight the same enemy twice is very, very slow. So in early game, the whole name of the game is going to be
clear.
taking care of the enemies in as efficient and effective manner as possible. And then once we pick up our dash ability, things are going to get a little bit more
Hey, up there.
wild. So this is probably a good time actually to pass over to our
Hello,
host if they've got
world.
any messages or plugs that they want to give.
Look at all that.
Yeah, fantastic. We've just had a $5 donation come in from Pingu.
100 blocks away.
We've got animation royalty in the chat apparently. Pingu says, "Noot noot."
Oh, shout out to the Newt Newts.
Put towards chicory. My favorite food is
Block party
fish.
bad.
Noot noot.
Here we
You know
go.
what? That tracks.
That does track.
Yeah, and I believe it.
Get out of here.
All right, so here we pick up a new ability. So the loadouts of this
Gee,
game, it's a really, really
okay?
well-designed game in the sense that we have 18 different abilities that will unlock over the course of the game. We're only going to see about
She wants to come
7 or
along.
8 of them in the speedrun because we finished way,
can
way
use it.
under-leveled. But every ability can be equipped as an active ability, as an upgrade to an active ability, or
end of
to
the plaza.
as a passive that improves
It's you.
red. So
Very
because of
modular.
that,
I'm so
with
sorry,
with
Red.
18 different abilities and each one being able to fill multiple
They took your
roles,
voice.
you've got about 14
Make them
million
stop them.
possible loadout combinations. So thankfully, I didn't
took
start
something
running
of
this
theirs.
game until long after it had been routed out.
just
So
go.
I am standing on the shoulders of giants who went through all of the hard work to get that sorted.
Young lady here to see
This
you.
is one of the only aspects of RNG in the whole run. This is a young lady. First time she takes damage, she teleports in a random direction. And then when she dies, she spits out all these cells in a random direction. So that was an awful teleport location. We want her to teleport as close to this door as possible.
I know a
But
place
that was a
where you can get a ride.
phenomenal cell spit out. So we got unlucky and then lucky in the same
This didn't
spot
used to be
here.
here.
This one's just a little puzzle that we do actually have to use turn for. The way turn works is it's kind of like the Fallout 4 VATS system, where it's going to pause time. We have a limited stamina
Hey,
bar
Mr.
with which we
Boyle,
can
you in
unleash
there?
a bunch of abilities, and then all those abilities play out in lightning speed,
him,
and then we
alright,
can't do
but I can barely
anything
hear him.
until our stamina bar recharges.
Yeah, you'll see it along the top of the screen. There'll be like a bar that, as you start to do
no.
things, it will start to fill it up, and then
Cut
it will
off
just
our
like play out in that specific order as well.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like I said, it is a very, very slow
tough
mechanic,
guy.
so we don't use it a great deal. We just play the games as if it was a live action game. And it's one of the big difficulties in first learning to run the the enemies are specifically designed to be hyper aggressive because you have the ability to pause time and take your turns and stuff like
still
that.
here.
They intentionally made the enemies
Okay, you're
incredibly hyper aggressive. So
Hey, there you
speedrunners,
go.
we just have to deal with
Good.
a ridiculous amount of
Just one
aggression,
more block.
which is really
Wanna
on
show you
display in this arena right here, because we are fighting what's called a jerk. And jerks they just push you around a whole bunch. They do a lot of damage, and it can just be very, very
Here he
frustrating.
comes.
And unfortunately, most of the game is very undeterministic, so you've just got to react to the fights in the best way you possibly can, especially early game. Now that we've picked up our dash ability, so the
They're
ability
gone.
named Jaunt, you'll
So
hear
is
me
this
call
whole
it
block.
Jaunt, you'll hear me call it Dash
good
interchangeably. But now that we've picked that up,
That's our
things are
way
about to get a hell of
Okay.
a lot more
East
interesting.
64 on ramp. 5 blocks down.
This next
Take the
cutscene
second
here is
right.
actually the only
Do not
contribution
turn left.
I have made to the
And
speedrun as a whole.
thanks for the lift.
It is a short motorbike cutscene, and if you hold down space during it, red will accelerate. this cutscene won't end until there's a fade out that ends.
left.
That fade out starts sooner
Thought we were
if
gonna
red
skip town.
ends closer to the right-hand side of the screen.
going back there.
So by accelerating through this cutscene, you save exactly 30
Man, these
frames
things,
or half a second.
they do not have
And
a
that
sense
might
of
not
humor.
seem like a lot, but there has been two different
track you
instances in
down,
the last couple of
wipe you
years
out,
where
and take
what
whatever's
separate
left of
first
me.
and second on the worldwide
Back to those
leaderboards
two-bit
was
camera
7
pieces of
frames.
trash.
So those 30 frames do make a very big difference. At least I'm going to keep telling myself that because then it feels like I actually contributed something important to the speedrun.
Look, pressing
let me
spacebar
go.
causes the flames to happen, and everyone knows red makes everything go faster.
And we love flames. We love flames. All right, I'm going to kick it back to our wonderful host for any messages they may want to pass on.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a reminder that we are raising money for Game On Cat. So we are only $50 away from the $7,000 mark. And all of the money that we are raising is going to support a fantastic cause of funding early career cancer researchers. So if you would like to contribute towards that and make number go up, AusSpeedruns.com/donate is the place to do it.
So what we just had there, that was the first instance of controller keyboard movement.
They were waiting.
So the reason that we play with the controller is that it allows you to buffer input. So just by holding the triangle
fertile
button,
ground.
as you can see, dash is our primary form of movement,
Wait,
and by
you wanna check
holding
the channel back
the
there?
dash button, we dash at the first possible frame that we're able to, but only when we're holding the controller. Unfortunately, we cannot do controller and mouse movement at the same time. So the only time we can really use the controller as a method of movement is when we are only planning on
Get ready to
moving
get
in one of
jumped.
the 8 cardinal directions. So in the next room here, you're going to see a really,
not
really
stick
great
around.
example of that. But first, this is one of the more complex
Got some
fights of the
kind of
game.
cheerleader this
I need to
time.
hit this bomb towards this satellite and then dash to just here. Oh, I might. Oh, no, we just missed it. So in a perfect world, these two line up. We call these the twins. They line up. They both get hit by the explosion of that ability there.
I guess we're done
and we
here.
take them out in one shot. So that was a little bit slow, but that's all right. They can be uncooperative at the best of times. So this is one of the only times we're going to change our loadout, and this will be our loadout for pretty much the entirety of the rest of the game. We're going to put that there, that there, that there, that there, that there, and that there. And now I'm going to have Aggie explain
Hope you're wearing
Sybil
comfortable
skip,
shoes.
because I need to count.
Yeah, so Sybil is, Cass is going to use controller and keyboard,
Here we are.
so you can travel in cardinal directions. And so what
Deserted.
Cass is now doing is dashing
can't
and in a very particular pattern, just to go around the entire room, which is very long and not very fun, filled with lots of encounters. And once we get back around, we will have reloaded the room, and we will be entering the Sybil fight. In recent times, there's been some developments in this, adding in some little bit of
First saw you up on that
freewalking
stage back there. It was like,
that saves a small amount of time, but a
Everyone
very
loved you.
good amount of time found by Jen
everyone except for them.
one of the
Somewhere, I missed one somewhere. I missed one somewhere. But that's right, now you get to say it again.
Here we are. Deserted.
Yeah, but when you start trying to introduce a lot of like free running stuff and just like things become a little bit less consistent
Yeah.
and a little bit and much more scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, blind movement is always, it can be very, very tricky.
Regardless of the game, it's like it's
Exactly.
always going to be very scary. So often you want to go for the most consistent strategies, and this has been a rather consistent strategy. This is counting it out.
Exactly. This is the awesome Darren Korb sound design that we're talking about, right?
Exactly.
Everyone loved
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
First try.
Oh boy. So as Aggie was saying, if you follow that around the proper way, there's like 4 different fights, and it takes a really long time. So basically, we get out of bounds really, really early, and then we get to go around the entire map. And by following a very particular set of dashes, it puts us right at this microphone, which is the beginning of this cutscene. And at the end of this cutscene, we'll be warped straight into the boss fight with Sybil. And it's funny, I had a dream last night that I stuffed up that skip, and then for whatever reason, you know how dreams happen, I just couldn't retry it. So that was prophetic.
Yeah, the civil fight, aka the Doom Theory boss fight.
Definitely the hardest boss fight for new runners. We do have a quick
Very
strat that lots of people have different ways of doing. Another runner by the name of Cinnamore swears by the Kiss the Sybil strat, and then the current two best runners in the world, Jenka and Mimi, both have formulated their own one, and then I kind of blend the two together into my own method. That's much more marathon safe, but I do get the current best runners of the game are both quite a bit younger than most of us, so we very often get referred to by using what they call boomer strats. So shout outs to Mimi and Jenka. Yeah, I'm doing my boomer strats. So.
Hey, we're in our 30s. We gotta do what we gotta do.
As the run said yesterday, big shout out to mid-30s speedrunners.
Say something weird.
We're all so exhausted and our phones hurt.
That is the sound of mid-30-year-olds saying
yeah.
woo.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is Civil, and this is where you're going to see the power of the damage rotation that we use. So we now have the ability to drop these little bombs, and by blowing these bombs up with a particular ability set up in a particular way, we're going to basically 100 to 0 her every single time, but I have to do it very, very quickly, because unfortunately she is going to continually summon more and more enemies.
Sybil.
And one of those enemies is what's called a cheerleader, and that cheerleader has the ability to shield her from all damage. That's Sybil. So she has 3 phases, and by dropping 2 bombs, blowing them up, dropping 3 bombs, blowing them up, and then dropping 3 bombs, blowing them up, and dealing 5 additional damage to her in any way, shape, or form, you get through the fight really, really quickly. So
Nice and clean.
I was
very
very
clean.
happy with that. I was very happy with that.
She can be a little scary at
Yeah,
times.
Civil can be very mean.
We'll be back
One thing
someday.
I really love about the music of this boss fight is how the music changes from really clean
Yeah.
vocals and becomes much more processed.
Yeah, like there's a lot of
Every phase.
distortion.
Yeah.
But because Cass is so very good, we never get to hear it.
Thank you, Ranky. That was a great thing to add. That was a great thing to add. Yeah, they do it really. They play with the music in this really, really well. You know, most songs do have vocals by Ashley Barrett, and then when you enter turn or have that time stop that time stop thing happening, the vocals actually stop and it cuts instead to Ashley Barrett just humming the lyrics of the song, and it's just a really, really beautiful touch. And Red, for all intents and purposes, within the world of Cloudbank that the game is taking place in, she is a performer. So having a voice and being able to sing is a very, very large part of the lore of the story that we're not going to get into too much, because it is, in classic Supergiant fashion, it is a really beautiful story that I highly recommend everybody go and play casually. So if you really enjoy the combat of this game, unfortunately, you're not going to see very much of it anymore, because this is where we start skipping fights. So first one, straight off the bat, is just by interrupting our sword boyfriend by spamming turn there. And then as we enter through this door, I'm going to spam space, enter turn, and then the game gets stuck. When Red enters through a door, if both sides of the door are on the same map, they just turn off Red's collision and move her from point A to point B. If we interrupt that movement by entering turn, we can actually lock ourselves in the out of bounds state. And because that happened in a fight that we never finished, the game was very confused why we hadn't finished the first fight, so it just didn't spawn fights 2, 3, or 4 throughout that area.
I love it when we get to see a game gets confused.
I get very confused. This is a different type of fight skipping, where by standing in a very specific location and dashing to a very specific location, our dash doesn't actually move us from point A along a path to point B. It actually just makes us disappear from point A and reappear at point B. So because of that, if we can stand in very specific locations and dash in very specific locations, we can just straight up dash over the fight triggers, which is absolutely not supposed to be happening. We had to do that fight, unfortunately, because just up here there is a doorway that remains locked if you do not complete at least one fight in this room. So this door right here would have been locked if we did not complete a single fight, and that fight just happens to be the fastest. So this whole area is just a whole bunch of standing in the right spot and dashing in the right spot to avoid fight triggers. So if you would like to host, if you would like to share some information with us, by all means, please do so.
Yeah, absolutely. We've just received another $50 donation from Chili Pepper, who says, "You simply can't expect us to cheer 2 days in a row at this age. A little respect for the elders, please."
Oh, Chili! Big shout out to Chili. I got to meet Chili this weekend, and it's been such a pleasure getting to know everybody. All right, I'm going to take this safety save here. Normally, I wouldn't, but this skip can be incredibly incredibly precise. And if I stuff it up, I lose 2 minutes. So we're going to take the safety save for marathon purposes. I'm going to push myself up against here, dash at this light, walk into the wall a tiny bit, dash here. Oh no! Hello. There we go. Oh, I celebrated too early. But that's why we take safety saves at marathons, my friends. That is why we take safety saves at marathons. So, all right, so we're going to set that up again.
Coast is clear.
Look, if that's the only fight skip I stuff up this whole event, I'm going to be okay with that. Cool, clap for that.
Hey, there we go.
All right, cool. So, the next section is a bit of an auto-scroller, but unfortunately I will not be passing over 2 messages because the most complex glitch in the game is coming up, and I'm gonna just show it off a little bit slower than I normally would, just so you can see what it is that I'm talking about. But basically, it's called save QQing. It was discovered by an incredibly famous glitch hunter called Sockfolder, whose resume of glitches that he has discovered in different games is so incredible. We're talking like Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and then just Transistor for seemingly no reason. But basically, the actions of this game, when you click on something or when you interact with something, the action gets added to a queue. And those actions can also have sort of conditionals. So one of the actions is interact with the save point. But you can interact with the save point from out of range. So the conditional being, when in range, interact with this save point. And we're going to abuse that system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand a distance away from the save point, click on it so that red walks towards it. I'm then going to use WASD to walk away, enter turn, and dash on top of it. Dashing on top of it will meet the conditional of when in range, interact with, but it puts the open the save window at the bottom of the queue. So if I continue to dash away, we can dash into a fight and then the save window will open. So click, walk away, enter turn, dash on top of it. We've now met that conditional, the save window is going to open, but not until after we finish those dashes. This blue area is a fight. So by dashing onto the save terminal, dashing into a fight, the fight triggers, we open the save menu. We retry, and we are on the opposite side of the fight trigger, and we simply do not need to do this fight, other than this poor dog that's already spawned in, but we're just going to leave him be. We're going to do that exact same thing here, but do it with an elevator. So this is just the same as like when you're a kid and you hit all the buttons on an elevator and then jump out the door. We're going to send this elevator up without us in it. This is the scariest one in the game because if I screw this up, the whole run dies. I have 5 safety saves set up. And we're not going to... I screwed it up in the best way possible that actually gives me another chance. So there are 2 ways to stuff this up. One is awful. One is what just happened, which is fine. So we're going to set this up again. We're going to click here, enter turn, walk into it, and then dash. And as you can see, when you're in this this turn mode, you don't get to see a lot of what the world has to offer. So you've just got to, from muscle memory, dash in the right directions. See the save. Oops. This is fine. If I continually stuff this up in just this way, it's fine because I'm not going to have to load a safety save. But
terminal on the corner back there.
So one thing to note, it is in Chinese because it is fast.
It is fast. Yeah. Yes, there is one sort of screen later that saves about 2 seconds by having it in simplified Chinese.
Moment of truth.
I don't know how I keep missing it. I've never missed it in a good way this many times. Usually it at least gives me nah, you've stuffed it, you have to
Terminal on
reset
the
it.
corner back there.
There it
There we
is. Okay, okay. Oh boy, that was scary. That was scary. Okay, so now we have set up the elevator. It's gone up without us on it. And because we didn't travel on the elevator, we skipped a trigger that puts the transistor or sword boyfriend into what we call drunk state. So he has two states, drunk and sober. He still talks as though he is in drunk state. All of his voice lines will come out slurred and make very little sense. But the game does not think he is in drunk state. And this is incredibly important for a huge skip that's coming up in a couple of minutes. So remember this little elevator skip that I just stuffed up, and I'll point out exactly why it was we had to do it. Whoops. I am playing in windowed mode because it allows me to move red faster than the camera is able to travel. So shout out to Tech for letting me do that, even though I kept moving the window around out of habit. All right, so we've got another elevator here, and there are two mechanics I've got to talk about that are important. One is called emergency turn. So when you take lethal damage for the very first time, you will enter turn automatically. You have 1 stamina bar's worth of energy to try and get yourself out of the situation that has put you there before you start overloading and losing abilities. There's also these little lore tablets sprinkled throughout the world. They're little computer monitors that you can interact with that will give you, little tidbits of information about CloudBank, little forum posts. It's all very cute. We're going to use those two together in a specific way to break the game. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start taking some intentional damage from the tail of the spine of the world. This is the next boss that we're supposed to be encountering, the spine of the world. So by dashing a certain number of times, waiting, the tail is going to come down and start dealing damage. I want to get 1 hit from dead. Okay, that was a little bit bad, but that's okay. Unfortunately, the frequency that the tail falls from the sky is random, so I've kind of got to just play it by ear here. And we're going to get down to one of these little lore tablets. So I'm going to take 1 more hit. I'm going to open this lore tablet, and normally this would pause all the enemies in the background. The only enemy that doesn't get paused is the tail of the spine of the world. So he's just hit me. We've just entered emergency turn. By exiting emergency turn, I get given back control while this little OVC terminal is open. So for the next 30 seconds or so, I am going to be navigating through this whole area without being able to see, and hopefully not getting hit by the spine anymore. Got a little stuck there. All right, cool.
We ought to go.
And then we're going to approach a door to the next area, and within a 3-frame window, I'm going to exit out of this OVC terminal that I have open.
Don't mind us.
I'm going to go through this door, exit this terminal, and enter turn, all in the space of about 3 frames. Just like that. And then, we've locked ourselves out of bounds.
Woo!
So, this whole section here is a really long tower climb. So we would just be in an isometric game, we're going left and right and up these different sets of stairs. There's like 4 different combat mechanics. There's this spine of the world is still trying to attack you. We're probably about to see him just here. So we've got to avoid that. We've got to kill enemies. It just gets really, really frustrating, and it takes about 9 minutes. But by doing this, we get to skip all of that. And by being out of bounds, when we do get to the boss's arena, which is just at the very, very top of this tower, normally what would happen is you would interact with the door that allows you to leave the area. The door slams shut, the boss spawns, and you have to fight the boss before you can leave. However, when we're out of bounds, we can actually activate a door from the wrong side. So, by standing on the wrong side of the door and opening it, just like that,
No way.
the boss never spawns and we just don't see the spine of the world ever.
We're here.
So that saves another about 2.5 minutes.
Which is really cool, but unfortunately it has some of the best music.
It does. It is my favorite boss fight, and skipping it sucks. Back when we were just doing elevator skip, this door is the reason why. We couldn't go through this door if we didn't do elevator skip like 3 minutes ago. So why that is the case, I have no idea, but that is the whole reason that we spent time doing this. We've got another little out of bounds just here. it doesn't save as much time, but it stops us having to listen to a monologue by one of the villains. We're just going to dash straight up here and into this door. These are one of my favorite fight skips because these are ones that you can just do using purely cardinal direction, so I don't even need to use my mouse at all.
3.
Shout outs to Mimi for discovering these ones. And this is where I'm gonna get made fun of by the youngins in the community, because there is actually a way to do this fight optimally that means these cluckers, as they're called, never have their AI switched on. And when they don't have their AI switched on, you don't get credit for doing this fight. And by not getting credit, you don't have to go through the it's about 2 seconds of experience gain at the end of the fight. You'll see the window when it pops up. I'll point it out. So by doing this in the new youngling way. Oops. There we go. This window that's about to pop up right here wouldn't happen.
All right.
And because that window wouldn't happen, we would be one level lower for the final boss fight, and that just makes things a little bit more complicated. So
Why are they even here?
When everything changes.
Yeah, I thought that just happened. That's fine. Where does this put me back to?
This should lead up to the
Less
concourse.
fine, but that's okay. That's okay. I got too busy talking about the younglings and I didn't take a
letting us
safety
walk
save
right
that I
in.
absolutely should have. So, host, this is going to be your chance to talk a bit more about why we're here, any messages we may have gotten, and about, I believe Supergiant donated a prize pack for this. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. So Supergiant's actually been quite generous. We've got the Supergiant Games Steam Bundle prize pack. If you donate at least $30, you'll be entered to receive one of the 3 different Supergiant Games bundles that we have to give away, which contains Hades, Hades 2, and Transistor. So if you want to get your hands on a copy of those games, all you need to do is donate at least $30, and you'll be put into the draw for that. We have a few other prize packs as well available. If you want to see more about them, you can go to the AusSpeedruns website, ausspeedruns.com, follow the links, and you can see all of the details there. I also just want to note that with our last donation, we have officially raised $7,000 for Game on Cancer.
Let's go.
Thank you very much to everyone who has donated to support this cause.
All right, there we go. All right, so that is one of those interactions where, because they are so close together, you can actually interact with them both at the same time, which again allows us to lock ourselves outside of bounds and we get supersonic speed. Unfortunately, this only lasts for the rest of this room, so it is not something we will have for the rest of the game. But for this rest of that room, we get to go really, really quickly. Basically, when you're doing multiple actions at a time, the game does get very, very confused about what action it's supposed to give you first. And normally, when you're going across those little jump pads that fling you around from one platform to another, you're not supposed to have control ever, and that includes not being able to enter and exit turn. But when you enter a little pop-up on screen like that, you have very, very few frames where you can still enter turn. So we use advantages of that. We take advantage of that as often as we possibly can. So that's what a save QQ looks like when it's not stopped for demonstration purposes. So very, very quick to just dash into a fight there, trigger it, and then reset the game to the last save point, which just happens to be on the opposite side of the fight.
Some kind of break room up
So
there.
here again, we've got one of those issues where the game is waiting for us to finish the first arena before it throws the second arena at us, and so on up until the fourth and final arena there. But because we never finished the first arena, it never throws the second one, third one, or fourth one at us. And now we have unlocked both sides of a very big door that's down here. We are going to do one more save QQ so we can open that door without ever, well, in a perfect world, without aggroing these enemies. But this one's going to look a little bit different, because before I reset, I'm going to unequip every single offensive ability that I have equipped. And I'm only going to have dash
Looks like
equipped.
Red has other visitors.
And then retry, dash into the door, and press A. So all of those enemies normally would aggro, but because I was able to dash and activate the door before their AI or their aggro range gets turned on, we can just make our way through the door without ever having to aggro them. So
Maybe there's still time.
yeah, all right, we're doing all right. We're doing all right on estimate, even with a couple of mistakes. I'm all right with that.
Standing offer.
All right. We're going to play a game here while our wonderful host talks to us about why we're here. We're going to play a little game called Spot the Cat. The next screen has a cat in it. Her name is Remy. If you can find her, you win a prize. But by all means, please.
I
take
assume
it
the
away.
prize is eternal glory or something.
Correct.
Is that
Yes,
right?
bragging rights over all of your friends.
Absolutely, but bragging rights over all of Twitch chat. Yeah, now seems like a really good time to remind everyone of some of our donation incentives that we have, including the upcoming one in our Supergiant Fragmented block. For Hades 2, you can choose the skin for our familiar, our beloved Crow Raki. There is a bid war going on to make Raki look familiar, chthonic, vernal, moon-touched, or nightmarish. At the moment, vernal is in the lead for with $20. I had to look it up. Apparently, vernal means relating to spring. So if you want to see a springful bird, you can donate towards that, or it's only $20 in the lead. So if you want to make Raki look any sort of other way, we have got that bid war open until the Hades 2 run, which is in a couple of hours. So get your donations going towards that, and have your say.
There's one left.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, we've got our second to last vehicle cutscene. So we have had motorbike, we have had boat, and now we have whatever the Goku's cloud thing is called.
The Nimbus.
What is it?
The Nimbus.
The Nimbus cloud. The Nimbus cloud. So these are just these little vignettes. Are just they sort of mark loading areas, and they give us a little bit more about the story. While Sword Boyfriend just sort of waxes poetically. We are down to only one remaining member of the Camerata.
Only one left.
Royce. For a very long time, Royce was a speedrunner's worst enemy, not because he is objectively the final boss of the fight, but because he really likes the sound of his own voice. So there are several points throughout the game where we would have to stop and listen to him have just 90 seconds of monologuing. But there's some changes there, so we'll get to it. Right before we went up to that penthouse area, you would have seen me unequip all of my offensive abilities. As soon as we finish this cutscene, it drops us straight into a fight. If we unequip all of our offensive abilities, the game is very kind and says, you can't win this fight because you can't deal damage, so it just ends the fight for us. So there were meant to be a fight there with multiple enemies, but we are able to just leave without having to ever engage with it whatsoever. So again, this is more just cardinal movement here, so I'm just buffering my inputs by holding controller and keyboard. And normally I wouldn't take this safety save here, I wouldn't do it till a little bit later, but this skip again can be a little bit frustrating. So 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Alright, so I'm attaching a new ability to my dash, which summons a little clone of red every time I do a dash. It's not vitally important, it doesn't really do anything for the run, except there is one fight a little bit later where it is going to make it just a tiny bit safer for me to navigate the fight skip when I have these little clones with me. And it is a very, very important ability across the board. Like when we use it as an active ability, it's incredibly important. But as a passive ability, it's just if we don't equip something, the game will be like, oh, you have unused assets. Are you sure you would like to just not use them? So we save ourselves an input by putting it on anyway. It makes no difference whatsoever. Those of you with a keen eye will notice that we are heading back through the exact same areas that we've already been through, but unfortunately the process or the main enemy of the game have had their way with the world, and most of it has been formatted back to just a blank slate, for lack of a better word. So we're getting a bit more abstract with our locations. A few more fight skips here, and we're being introduced to the final enemy of the run, the man. So men have a very, very particular mechanic where every single one of there's 4 types of men: sturdy, shooty, stealthy, and speedy.
That's what I've been saying this for so long.
Is this a tag yourself?
This is a Facebook tag yourself meme. So shooty, sturdy, stealthy, and speedy. One constantly regenerates health. One is really, really shoots their projectiles, which are called their haircuts, very quickly. One goes stealth, and the other one moves around really, really fast. I have to remember which one I hadn't talked about. But if there are multiple men in one fight, they all get all of their abilities. So a shooty, stealthy, sturdy man fight would become 3 shooty, stealthy, sturdies. Thankfully, we can skip almost every single one of the men fights. There is one that we actually need to do, and Jenka, bless their soul, has tried to teach me how to do it for so long, and I just can't. So we're gonna give it our best shot, and hopefully I can make her proud. We're gonna take a slight pause here so I can hear my favorite voice line in the whole game. And everybody in chat,
Not to get
I
wiped
want to
out
hear you
like all his
say,
bike friends. See you in the country, Mr. Bike.
"See you in the country,
You go
Mr.
first.
Bike." So,
Yikes. Spawning season.
and now we just make our way back. This
Watch
guy
your
here, his
step.
name is
Walk
Bob.
right
Here's Bob the Unbuilder. If we just don't move after he grabs us, he loses all aggro and just doesn't know what to do, which gives us the perfect amount of time to drop 4 bombs on the ground here, blow him up along with them, and just continue on. So Bob faked it till he made it, and then he didn't know what to do once he'd made it. So just be wary of that. We are about to have a photosensitivity warning as well, so if you are sensitive to flashing lights, I'll give you a heads up in a couple of seconds. It's only a couple of seconds, and you're not going to miss out on much because it is just me spamming the escape button over and over again. We're doing it in an attempt to halt Red's forward momentum, so she doesn't walk into a fight trigger herself. So please look away from the screen now if you need. And I stuffed it up anyway. So we're gonna have another one of those. But it's fine. Oh my goodness.
Bike deserves some kind of reward.
It's fine. This
Not
is
to
why
get
we
wiped
gave
out
a
like
good
all his
estimate.
bike
This is
friends.
why we gave a good estimate. So,
Yikes. Spawning season.
but if you've got any messages for us, since we're seeing a new area, by all means, go for it.
I don't have any new messages, but I do want to remind everyone that we are raising money for Game on Cancer, which is a fantastic charity which is trying to raise money to support early career cancer researchers in their work to find a cure for cancer. All of the money that we are raising is going towards that. So please, if you are willing and able to do so, head over to AusSpeedruns.com/donate, and you can donate there in the comment box if you want to put any money towards one of our remaining incentives. Do that there, and we will make sure that it goes to the right place.
Hello, world.
All right, cool. Another photosensitivity, or rather, the same photosensitivity warning again. Nice. Okay, cool. So, normally what happens is Red goes through that door and just keeps walking, and eventually she heads straight into a fight. By spamming the escape button there, we interrupt her forward momentum. It's like an animation cancel, basically. And it allows us to dash around the fight boundaries. Now, that's all well and good. Skipping a fight's great. We love that. However, at the end of that fight, we have our very first 90-second Royce monologue. By not doing the fight, Royce's monologue never triggers, and we just get to skip past him. So back a few years ago now, before the Transistor community even had a Discord, we just had a community group message because there were so few of us, we didn't need an actual Discord. I woke up one morning to a message from a runner, one of the mods of the community for Neff, and all it said was, "I've done it. I've skipped Royce," and it was the greatest day of all of our lives. So, unfortunately, I am now at the mercy of him. That if I do click on him at any point, not only will he say the dialogue that we just skipped, but he will continue to say more dialogue after that, which is what he would normally say. So, I've lost many world record attempts to accidentally clicking on Royce. So we're just going to hope that I don't do that this time.
Yeah, Royce is such a yapper.
He's such a yapper. There is no one I've ever met who likes the sound of his own voice more, other than probably me.
Yeah, Royce is such a yapper derogatory.
Yeah, it's not a kind type of yapper like commentators are. So, all right. So this is the fight where having the little clones helps because it confuses the men. What else is new? And it makes them throw their haircuts at the clones instead of at Red, and it just makes it just that little bit safer because the haircuts when they explode they do have a giant knockback, and it can very easily knock you into the fight triggers and lock yourself in that encounter. So. That was our second to last save QQ as well. And then this is the area that we call the casual skippers because there are so many casual players that when you watch someone play for the first time, they will accidentally skip fights in this section without realizing it just because they're dashing around and they're just like having a fun time. And there's actually 3 fights I'm about to skip that are actually really, really easy to do completely casually.
There's these traces inside the transistor.
How you going?
Once upon a time.
Oh, hi, Royce.
Hi, Royce. What's worse is there's a safety save right there, and that's what I was trying to clear.
Yeah. I saw you click in the air, and I was like, oh no.
Listen close enough, and maybe you can hear them. Some of them.
We may. He's desperate to have attention, so we may as well. Okay, that's good. That's good. That was good. That was good. That was very, very
Just
short.
like sit by.
That was so much shorter. All right, and this is the really, really hard fight. So I've got to pay attention really closely here. Just drop 2 bombs there. Close mark, dash. Drop 2 more here. Move a tiny bit. Roll 1 up. Oh. Nah, I stuffed it up. But that's okay. That's okay. I'll only be made fun of by a little bit. So there we go. There you go.
Nice.
Oh, and he's on. It's on respawn. I didn't pick up the cell. Oh, Denkar's gonna make so much fun of me. That's so bad. You know what? No, I took the safety save. Just do that. Just do that.
Yeah, I can't believe it when men decide to respawn.
Oh, so respawn is the worst.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was so nearly perfect. Oh, that would have made them all so impressed. Don't you dare. It's fine. It's fine. I can just do this. And then wait. Wait for her to be, him to be back there. And then there. Done. There we go. That's what we call on-the-fly routing. It's what separates a really good speedrunner from a really bad speedrunner, and definitely not the fact that I just stuffed up something that should be much, much easier.
If Royce can hold them off, so can you.
So these are the parts where we see casuals skip fights a lot. So there's a very high chance that if you played this game casually, you didn't actually know there were supposed to be fights in this section because you just accidentally skipped over them entirely.
I have no idea.
And we are getting very close to a very important part of the run that you all donated a wonderful amount of money for, where we will be playing with the pup. So, I did sort of hint at it earlier that this clone ability that we have is very important. I did hint earlier that this clone ability is very, very important. That is because when it is an active ability, it summons, as you may have guessed, a pup. And not only does it summon it, but she gets to fight with us. And there's this area of the game that up until this point we have completely skipped, called the beach. The beach is your... Oh my goodness gracious me. The beach is the part of the game where you would do like your sort of time trials and your combat demonstrations where to like really help you level up the game, level up your abilities and practice different loadout combinations and stuff like that. There's also a jukebox there so you can listen to the wonderful soundtrack by Darren Core. But most importantly at the beach is a nest. And within that nest lives what is known as a fetch process. Basically it's a dog, and we will get to play fetch with Luna. It is not going to be the last time we see Luna throughout the run either. I'm just going to give a little bit of foreshadowing there. So we're just going to make our way back here. The keen eye of you would know that this is an area we literally just ran through. Yes, I may have needed to reset once again, but that's okay. As long as I don't lose the entire run. Alright, so there's 2 fight skips right here. And then one just here. This is one I just stuffed up, so... There we go. There we go. Alright, cool. Cool. And as a reward for your patience, we're going to take a little detour here.
Hey, look.
We're going to go play fetch with the goodest girl. So thank you all so much for donating for this. This is my favorite incentive for multiple reasons. 1, you get to play with the dog, and 2, it actually gives me a safety save. So the next fight skip is really, really hard to do. So
Hi, Luna.
we're gonna hit this beach ball around
Luna?
and interacting with her.
Luna, fetch.
Shout outs to Luna.
Shout outs to Luna. She's the best little girl in the whole game. We can just chuck on a music
what's
track while
this?
we're here as well. So when you're having a lot of really bad runs, you just come to this part of the game and you just like, this here counts how many times she's barked at the ball. The highest I've ever gotten it to was like 270 times because I just got real addicted to just sitting here and having her chase the ball around. So sometimes it gets a little stuck and she doesn't quite know how to get to it. So you've got to go, you know, it's like when a dog accidentally drops its bowl in a swimming pool. But all right, everyone say goodbye, Luna.
Hi, Luna.
But don't worry, we might see her again in a little bit.
I miss Luna already.
It's all right. It's all right. You know she's coming back. So it's everyone else I'm foreshadowing it for. All right, so this is the hardest fight skip to do. So I'm really glad that we got to go visit Luna because then I get a safety save. We're gonna duck. We're gonna stick ourselves in this little gap here. Tap up once, and then I'm gonna dash right here, and then here. Nope. Here, there we go. All right, cool. And now we have our final save QQ. This is not to get into a fight. This is to once again skip a Royce monologue. So I'm going to do it first, and then I'll explain. Nice. Okay, cool. So normally we would get to this little orange wall that you're about to see here, this little gate. And Royce would not open it up until he got to a particular point in his dialogue, as well as he takes away our ability to use abilities. So every single one of these gates is a voice line trigger that we would generally need to wait for. It takes about 2.5 minutes for him to get out his spiel about how he's not really the bad guy. He just let in the creatures that killed everybody and took over the world. But it's not his fault. Thankfully, by doing that save QQ, we skip over the trigger that starts his dialogue, and the trigger that starts his dialogue and the trigger that takes away our abilities are the same trigger. So by skipping that trigger, we're able to just dash through the hallway, ignoring everything that he has to say, and loading the transistor into its cradle here, which is what's going to take us on to the final area, which is the countryside.
Yeah, right. I'm not a bad guy. I just started the apocalypse.
Yeah, not a bad guy. Just the lamb that opened Pandora's box. It's totally fine. So this is probably going to be your last opportunity for donations, if there are any, or any messages that you would like to remind everybody. Any incentives we have coming up?
No, absolutely. We have received a $5 donation, which is a message of encouragement for you from Conk, who says, out of all of the Transistor speedrunners I've seen today, you're easily one of them.
That is my best friend. So shout outs to Conk. Hi, Artie. Yeah, thanks mate, I appreciate that. So this is the only Royce monologue. Okay, no, sorry, I clicked on him, didn't I? In a perfect world, this is the only Royce monologue that I would need to listen to, but that's not the case for this run right now. And I'm actually going to let Aggie take over and I'm going to let Phoenix take over. I forgot which commentator is doing which for me. I'm going to let Phoenix take over and explain the Royce fight so I can focus on it because things can go wrong.
Man, unless you want to.
Everything else has gone wrong this run, so why not Royce as well? This is the only time we're actually going to be changing our loadout throughout the entire run. So I'm going to let you take over here, JLP.
All right. So one thing you are going to notice is that we are going to get our little friend back. We're going to bring Luna into the battle because there is a very particular quirk that she has, which is going to allow us to do an exceptional amount of damage.
Let's see.
Right after Royce does his opening barrage, hoping he's going to stay somewhat close by to us so we can actually limit the amount of resources we're using to get to him, and then we're going to set up a bomb, going to detonate the bomb, and then with Luna, because she has all of her stamina to work with as well, she will bark at the bomb, which will then duplicate it, and then duplicate it again, and then duplicate it again. So these explosions are going to be going off many, many times, and he's going to absolutely tear through Royce's health bar. And at the start of this, when Kaz was setting up his build and all that, he put the dash onto the passive, which means that this stamina bar is going to recharge so much quicker, so he can get these attacks in before Royce is really able to respond.
Cool, and that's Royce. So he has 4 phases, and as JLP was saying, so up until very recently, we actually thought this was only doable on a down-patched version of the game, and it wasn't until I accidentally ran on current patch one day without realizing that I figured out, Oh no, Luna's still bugged on this patch as well. So yeah, every time she barks at a bomb, it doubles. So we drop 1 bomb on the ground, and by the end of her 3 barks, we end up with 8. And then all 8 blow up, do damage to Royce, and we 100-0 him in no time whatsoever.
And that's why Luna's the bestest girl ever.
Without her, we would not be able to do this run. Literally, having to do that fight without that bug is an absolute nightmare. So
Casually, it's very fun and very interesting to play around with a lot of the mechanics of the game, and it's like because he's doing the same things as you are as well.
he has his own transistor and can stop time as well. So
very interesting casually, but in the speedrun, Luna's just like, I don't want to do this.
What you mean to say is Royce cheats.
Royce does cheat. Royce does cheat, and that's one of the things. And that's the reason that this is like minutes ago now. But the reason that I would take that fight that gave me experience that other runners skip is because without that, I don't have the ability to put dash onto my passive ability. And without putting the passive ability there, it's so much harder to actually get my to get my turn off before Royce gets his turn off. So we are coming through to the end here. So this is normally the part of the run where I would give a shout out to all of my friends and the Transistor community, but of course I am very, very grateful for them, but they all know that. This weekend we're going to do something a little bit different because this weekend is a little bit different. Because 238 years ago, my ancestors, the white man, landed on the shores of this country and began the colonization and genocide of our First Nations people. There are going to be celebrations held throughout the country this weekend on stolen lands.
What are you doing?
But for many, it is a time of loss, a reminder of a time where their very culture and lives were ripped from them. And I know many people are probably thinking that, we're not still taking them as slaves, we're not still ripping their children away from them and causing them to assimilate into white life. But that does not change the fact that there are gross injustices that are happening every single day. If you are an Indigenous Australian, you are 17 times more likely to be arrested by police. Those who do get arrested are 16 times more likely to go to prison than a white man for the exact same crime. And those are just the ones that are lucky, because if you are an Indigenous Australian, you are 10 times more likely to die in police custody than a white Australian is. So these are very, very real things happening every single day. They are not an issue of ability, they are an issue of opportunity, but our government is far too busy trying to make friends with a genocidal state than they are to care for their own population. So I'm probably preaching to the choir here because the speedrunning community is the most incredible community I've ever met, but it is time that we lend our voices to those who are continually having theirs silenced. Changing the date of Australia Day will not fix everything, but it's a step in the right direction. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. ASO, thank you for having me. You're all beautiful. And I'll see you again. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Cass, for those powerful words and for that fantastic run. That is also going to be the end of my shift on the stream. So I am going to be handing over to Chuckster in a minute for our next run of